अब देख लेंगे.
होस्ट के
I will make you host, madam,
Okay.
and then you can. I think Arnav Sen Gupta came quite late in the morning class also, so he may come shortly. Right, madam. I think you can proceed.
Okay, so let
Just
me
see if
share the
share and other things.
share. Let me check it out. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Just wait. Can you see it out?
No,
Is
ma'am.
it? Oh shit! फिर यही problem. That is the problem.
You will have to open
Share.
the PPT.
I'll have to share the screen and then I believe.
Now something is coming.
Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now
Thank you.
going.
Yeah, I'm learning. That's why I was telling Verma ji ki today my son is not available. So you just help out. If they will, the problem is still I'm so confused in sharing the screen actually. चलिए तो
Now you can proceed. Okay.
चलिए, so today is the session 5. I'll be completing today, Sudeep. So
Yes,
should I start actually with you because it's a 4-5? So if somebody will be joining, they'll be joining in between.
हाँ, that suits.
ठीक है, तो okay, models of change management today will be doing. The last session I was supposed to do it. So today I'll be doing the models of the change management actually, because we have done the models of the OD and today we'll be doing models of the change management actually. अब देखिए on the screen I'll be showing it out the top 10 change management models in 2021 actually. The 2021 which were trending, the 10 change management models, where the number one is the Levin's Kurt Levin is 3-step change management model, which we have already discussed in OD models, because OD also is including, because in OD also the change management is the integral part. So more or less the same models will be working for the OD as well as for the change management as well. So first, Kurt Lewin, that's why I will not be discussing today, because we have already discussed in the OD models also. Second is a McKinsey 7S model. Third is the, so Rupesh has come. Let me admit, yes. Rupesh, can you hear? Shit. Rupesh, can you hear?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Okay. Yeah, good evening. Shailya, so today I have started the session actually. Today we'll be doing the change management models actually, which I was supposed to take the last session. So last session I could not take it out, so I'll be completing it. Okay. So top 10 management models I was discussing in 2021, which were the trending the top 10 change management model. The first was the Kurt Lewin 3-step change management model. You can recall the 3 steps, Rupesh or Sudeep?
Yes, ma'am.
What are the 3 steps of the Kurt Lewin change management model? What are the 3 steps? Very common model, 3 steps. This was the primary model of the change management at the OD.
Forming, norming.
No, unfreezing to
freezing, and refreezing.
Change to refreezing. Exactly. Okay, the second is a McKinsey 7S model today we'll be discussing. Then the third is a Kotas model. Fourth is a Froskis Atkar change management model. Then fifth is a Kubler-Ross change curve, nudge theory. Sixth, seventh, bridge transition model. Eighth is a Satir change management model. Ninth is a Maurer 3 level of resistance and change model. And the 10th is the Deming cycle. So these are the 10. But अब देखिए होता सबसे पहले कि what are the change models why we are discussing into the OD and the change management, because the change management models are basically the concepts, theories, and methodologies that provide an in-depth approach to the organizational change. Change management models prepare you for resistance and guide you and your employees or your team towards a successful implementation of the change. Actually, the change management models, or any OD models we're talking about, or any model we're talking about, so these models aims to provide a guide to you for making the changes, for navigating the transformation process, and for ensuring that changes are accepted and put into practice actually. Okay, so a variety of established model exists. The challenge is to find the one that works best for your situation. So number of, if you'll be surfing the net actually, so as I had told in the OD also, it's very difficult to choose actually. So as I'm showing you, these are the 2021 trending model actually for the change management. So a variety of established models exist on the net, but the challenge is to find the one that works best for your situation. So some models out of these, some models are better suited to large scale organization wide changes, and some models are better suited to the smaller changes. So out of these 10 models, I have chosen 5 models to discuss today. And I'll try to in the brief, I'll be trying to go in the brief actually, because as the Sudeep has said, because the 90 minutes are not sufficient in fact. So first 11 3 step I will not be discussing, because we have already discussed in the OD model. This comes under the OD model also. Second, McKinsey 7S model. From this I'll be starting today to discuss. So first is the why I have chosen the McKinsey, Kotas, Adkar, Kubler, and Nudge. These are the models I'll be touching today. Why I have chosen these models to discuss today, there's a reason actually, because as per my thinking actually, I'm touching those which will, the McKinsey 7S model will be guiding you for the organization wide change. If you're going for the organization level of change, then the McKinsey 7S model will be giving you the roadmap actually. Why Kotas model I have changed? Because this is the leading change model. How to lead the change into the organization, how to initiate the change. This is the roadmap for that. Why Adkar change model? Actually, this is the Prosky's Adkar change model. It is called actually, because if you are going for the individual level of change, then Adkar is the best model actually for go. This is for the building the culture of change into the organization, and for the individual level of change, Adkar change model is the best model actually. Why Kubler-Ross change curve I have chosen to discuss today actually. In the brief only I'll be going, but yes, you need to know, because these models, the above models, are not actually taking care of the emotional aspects of the people. So Kubler-Ross change curve is the model which will be taking care of the emotional aspects of the people actually. So that's why I needed to discuss with you people. So it's a very interesting model actually. So we'll be discussing, and the nudge theory, which is a very modern and the recent and the actually very flexible theory, which the Indian government even is using this theory actually, this model. So these 5 models I'll try to touch today, but I'll try to make you understand actually first. So first model is the McKinsey 7S model. You must have heard, this is very common model actually. So who knows about the McKinsey 7S framework? You both, anyone knows about this? Have you heard about the McKinsey 7S model?
Yes,
okay, first you can see what are the 7S actually. So 7S, the 7S of the McKinsey model makes it one of the more complex model. But as you, that complexity may be necessary when implementing organization-wide changes. As I told you, McKinsey 7S model is applicable to all the industry you can go. For the all industry type, it is good, and it is providing you in the depth actually the clarity, because it is touching all the 7 internal factors of the organizations. Okay, so the model, that's why the complexity is actually required, because this is the 7S model. So the model 7 elements are not designed to be addressed in a specific order. Actually, it's not linear fashion. Actually, you can adapt it out, but rather it is assessed by how they affect each other, so that weaknesses can be identified of each element actually. So which are those 7 elements? As you can see on the screen: strategy, structure, system, then shared values, skills, staff, and style. Okay, in the picture you are seeing the half portions above. First is hard skills and the soft. अब देखिए क्या है कि out of the 7 element, actually the 3 elements, which is the strategy, structure, the first 3 elements, which is strategy, structure, and systems, are known as hard elements. Why these are known as hard? They are considered the hard elements because they are simpler to identify and easily influenced by the management. Hard elements are the easily identified, easily described, and easy to implement, and they are easily influenced by the management. Strategy, structure, and systems. Strategy, where strategy, what is the strategy? Strategy is a company plans. It is a game plan of the top management, game plan to win to succeed in the business. So how to be competitive in the market, for that they need to plan actually. So strategy is that. And what is the structure we mean? The structure means we are talking about the organization charts. Who will come after whom? Okay. And the systems, when we talk about, then systems are all about routines or the processes or the procedures for how work is to be done in the organizations. So all these 3 elements in the McKinsey actually, so it is known as the hard elements. Hard elements, which is easy to define and easy to implement and easily influenced by the management. Okay. Next 4, the other rest of the remaining 4 elements, which we can see: shared values, style, staff, and skills. Okay, style, when we talk about we are mainly talking about the leadership style actually. Okay, so these 4 elements are considered or known as soft elements into the McKinsey 7S model. Why this is known as 7? Because these are, why soft elements? Because soft elements, they are hard to, they are difficult to describe, they're difficult to identify, they're difficult to describe, harder to implement, and they influenced by the company culture. Okay, because your staff, their skill sets, the company's overall leadership style, as well as the values or culture of the company are more fluid and subject to continuous change. So they are difficult to describe. So for the cultures are concerned, so it is difficult to describe values and the skills and the staff and the leadership style. These are the 4 elements which are difficult to describe, harder to implement, and they are influenced by the company culture. So the key is to keep all 7 elements in harmony by analyzing how they interact with and affect each other. So these 7 elements, as I told you, 7 is framework hai, and in that, out of the 7, 3 are the hard elements and 4 are the soft elements. And what is the key of success of this model? Actually, key is to keep all 7 elements in harmony by analyzing how they interact with each other and affect each other. How they affect each other, you can see this second picture in your screen. Strategy. What should we do to solve the specified business problem? If the strategy, you are asking this question, one by one I'll be coming to the all the element one by one. Strategy. Strategy kya hai? The first step of this model is evaluating the strategy. At this step, you need to ask questions like, what are your company objective? What steps you are taking to reach them? How are you adapting to changing timings? And then what should we do to solve the specified business problems? Asking hard questions like this will begin a conversation that will generate an honest approach to what the organization has been doing so far. Okay, because this is the roadmap, how to start, how to go ahead with this model actually. So when we talk about this, so first element is the strategy. As I told you, this is not a, we should not actually follow it in the linear fashion actually. Where is the problem? This is but this is 7 elements are actually taking care of all the internal factors. Okay, all the internal factors. And wherever is the problem, you can identify the problem and can go ahead. But this is one roadmap they are providing, the McKinsey is providing you 7S, that strategy. First, you can look for the strategy actually. What are the should we do to solve the, if there's a specified business problem, your business is not doing well actually. So what should we do? We should identify the problem actually. We should ask the organizational members, what are the company objectives? What steps you are taking to reach them? How are you adapting to the changing timing actually? And these are the hard questions actually. So asking hard like this will be helping us to begin the conversation with the organization member, and that will generate an honest approach to what the organization has been doing so far. Okay, second strategy, after the strategy, the second step is the structure. As I told you, structures refers to the organization chart. So what structure do we need to execute this strategy? So whatever strategy we are adopting, as per that strategy, what structures, what organization chart is required. So how they are affecting each other, you are seeing it out. Getting it out? So structure, this is the second step actually. So this is your organization structure, and it's easy to portray, as it's pretty tangible in medium-sized organization. Medium-sized organization, you can easily be able to track down all the positions actually. So if you are working in a larger group actually, then it is difficult to track. So in the larger group, you need to track your team only. So ask the questions like, what is the team hierarchy, how the team collaborate, and how communication flows from the end to another. So this type of questions we are asking to the organization members into this, so far the structure is concerned. And if in case there is any problem is identified, then we are with that need to be improved or that need to be rectified. So this way we are moving. So third step is the systems. Once we are a strategy, we have identified the problem at the strategy level, we have identified what structure do we need to execute that strategy. Then the third, we come to the systems actually. So what business system do we need to use or invent to execute the strategy? So whatever strategy we have adapted, whatever is the structure actually, so what business system is required or needed to use or invent to execute that strategy actually. So you're seeing the correlation actually, how they're affecting each other. So strategy, we are identifying the specified business problems, and then just to execute that strategy, what structure and what systems are required. So this is the correlation. The system, now that we have clarity about the purpose and the people, it's crucial to analyze the process and how they are being managed, and that is known as systems actually. So these are the questions we are asking over here. And the what questions at the systems level, when you are doing the survey to identify the problem at the systems level. So what are the hard questions you can, because this is the hard elements. So what are the hard questions you need to ask? What are the core processes? How are they used and updated? Who are the key players in managing them actually? So these type of questions we need to ask to the organization member when we are identifying the problems at the systems level. Okay, so these hard elements we have identified, then we come to the softer elements, which is the first, shared values. Shared values, which of our principle help us? Why do we do what we do in the way we do it out? Because shared values, when we talk about, this is the fourth step actually into the McKinsey model. So this part of exercise can be a little tricky actually, because as values can mean different things to different people actually, and the meaning of values are differing as per the context actually. So if you're working with the whole organization, the values might be differing from those to specific to each team actually. So we need to take care in these things into the account actually. So at this level we can ask the questions like which values are currently known, or how the company culture affects the team members, or which, as you can see in the screen, which of our principal help us, or why do we do what we do in the way we do it out. So these kind of questions we are asking to the organization members when we are identifying the problem at this level actually, at this step. So once we are having the hard elements identification, then the shared values, then we are moving to the another, which is the style. This S seeks to understand and reflect mainly, as I have told you, leadership style. So leadership style taking into account how performance can be affected by the one who are leading. And you all know, okay, so many things depends upon the leadership style actually, okay, who is leading the organization. Here some important questions to ask are: is the leadership style is about collaborative? Is leadership style is collaborative? What styles are more active? Do you have right leaders and managers in your organizations? Or as you can see in the screen, what leadership style and culture and qualities will help us to achieve a strategic objective. So whatever is our strategic objective, to achieve that, what type of leadership style is required, which will suit to our organization culture as well. So these are the questions which are asked at the when we are leadership style actually. Okay, so this is the fifth S. Okay, going to the sixth S, which is the staff. As you all know, okay, how should we help our managers in their growth? This is all about the who are the people in each one of the role, at each position, at each role, what skills are currently present in your team, what skill sets currently available, have all necessary roles been filled. So these are the questions which are asked at this type staff level to identify the problems, whether we are having the right people at the right position at the with the right skill or not. Okay, so in case of any problem we are identifying, then we are going for to we need to take going for the change at this level actually. And the last S is the seven. The S is the skills. So we have asked questions about the staff and what skills you currently have in your team. And now we need to assess future skills you need your team to possess or acquire. So this is the excellent time to ask, does your team have all the skills they need? Which skills are missing in, what are the specific skills that will help us, what skills do we need to develop actually? So these are the seven. So as for the so far the skills are concerned actually, so we are talking about the future skills. What future skills? So we at the staff level we have already talked about available skill sets. Okay, now at the skills level we are identifying the future skills. Which future skills are required? Does our team have all the skills they need or not? Which skills are missing in our organizations actually? What skills do we need to develop actually? So these are the type of questions we are asking. So this is the 7S framework which gives you the act. अब देखिए क्या कि what is the pros? This is the 7S model I'm talking about. Now I'll be talking about the pros and cons of this model actually. तो pros क्या है, इसके advantages क्या है कि this is the complex model तो है, but this is a holistic model which allows for an extensive assessment of almost any industry, in almost for the any industry. It goes deep into all the layers. As you can see, 7 elements, all internal factors it is considering: strategy, structure, system, values, skills, staff, style. It is actually considering all the internal factors actually. So it goes deep into to all the layers and allows for a clear reviews of what is doing good and what needs to be improved. So it is providing you such a vast roadmap actually in case so organization wide change if you're looking for. So it is considering all the internal factor, 7 elements. It goes deep into the all the multi layers, all layers from strategy till skills And then it is giving you the clear reviews and the clear picture that what is doing good or what is doing better in your organization and what needs to be improved, what needs to be changed in your organization. So this is the wonderful. As per me, I like this model very much because this is giving you the total picture of the internal factors actually. Okay, so this is the McKinsey model, which is providing you the guidance or the roadmap for the organization wide change. What is the one cons actually कि I'm finding actually it is not considering the external factors actually. If and secondly, if the organization is huge, if the organization is big, then this model might take too long time in providing you results because of this complexity. 7S element. You need to go into the multi layers. So it may give it's not that it's not effective for the larger organization, but in the larger organization, it may, this is the con that this is the in larger organization, it may take long time to provide you the results. And due to the complexity of the McKinsey 7S model, it is more suitable for smaller companies or the smaller teams. It is more suitable, but I'm still saying, okay, we are not saying it is not as suitable for the larger skills. Only we need to be patient. In the larger organizations, actually, it may take long time to provide the results actually. So this is the only cons. If you are going for the organization wide change, so this is the only drawback I found actually as per me. Okay, it may take long time. Okay, so have you understood this McKinsey model? Any questions from this?
No,
Otherwise,
yes.
No.
okay, so otherwise I'll be moving to the second model.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, stop. Yes. So second model is the Kotas 8-step process for leading change. As I had told you, this is the second choice of mine which I have taken. You people need to understand how to lead the change or how to initiate the change into the organizations. So this is the wonderful Kotas 8-step model. So you all know that the change needs to happen, but don't really know how to go about delivering it. Where do you start and whom do you involve? How do you see it through the end, actually through to end? So there are many theories about how to do this actually, but a professor at Harvard Business School and world renowned change expert, that is a John Kotter, introduced his 8 steps change process in his 1995 books actually, Leading Change. Okay, and here you can see on the screen what are those 8 steps, and out of these 8 steps, where the first 3 steps, that is a create the sense of urgency, form a powerful coalition, and the create a vision for change. These 3 steps focus is on creating and enabling the environment for change to take place. Okay, so this is the leading change model, which will be give you the roadmap how to initiate or lead the change in your organizations. And into the 3 phases we can talk about this model, and the first 3 step is ensuring, creating, and enabling the environment for change to take place. And the fourth and sixth step, fourth to sixth, I can say, communicating the vision, empowering action, and the create quick wins. So this is all about to ensure that all organizational members are actively involved in the process of change. Okay, and the last 2 steps, which is the seventh and eighth, build on the change and make it stick actually. So this is all about ensuring the stability and sustenance of change. So we are talking about the implementing and sustaining for change actually, how to sustain the change, how to make it stick actually, the change whatever we have introduced it out. So 8 steps and the 3 phases. So creating the climate for the change, then engaging and enabling the organizational members, and then implementing and sustaining for change actually. So coming one by one on all the step actually. So first I'll be coming to the step 1, which is how to lead. For the leading the or change into the organization, first you need to create a sense of urgency for the need of change in your organization. Okay, so first step is creating the sense of urgency for the need of the change actually. So for a change to happen, it helps when whole company really wants it. Getting it out. So when the change works in the company, actually when the whole company really wants it to be changed, so it's required to develop a sense of urgency around the need for change, and this may help you spark the initial motivation to get things moving. So what you can do at this step, so what to do at this step actually, that is the practical thing you need to know, ki how to create the urgency, what you need to do at this step. So first you need to identify the potential threats and develop scenarios showing what could happen in future. अब आपको क्या करना है, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मेंबर्स को, यू नीड टू आइडेंटिफाई द पोटेंशियल थ्रेट्स in the and in the organizations, and you need to show in the form of scenarios कि how what could happen in future actually, so that they will be getting motivated towards the change actually. Second, you need to examine the opportunity. First you need to identify the potential threats and develop scenarios showing what could happen in future. Second, you need to examine the opportunity that should be or could be exploited. So threats and opportunity, you all know what are these factors actually, which factors we are talking about right now,
SWOT analysis.
which factors. Now we are considering the external factors.
External factors.
Exactly. In the McKinsey की एक ये ही कौन जो मुझे दिखती है actually के as per में कि they are not considering the external factors actually. Okay, and McKinsey is totally 7 is जो भी element what they were considering is that total is the internal factors. In fact, here we are talking about the external factors कि identifies the potential to motivate the employee, identify the potential threats and develop the scenarios showing them कि what could be happen in the future actually, and then examining the opportunity that should be exploited, that should be grabbed by the organization. Then the thirdly, start honest discussions and give dynamic and convincing reasons to get people talking and thinking about the change. Okay, so we need to give the reason to them, okay, of talking how why to be changed. Next, what you need to do at this step, fourth step, request support from customers or outside stakeholders and industry people to strengthen your arguments. Whatever arguments you're giving to convince the organization member, you need to strengthen with the support of your customers or your stakeholders or outside stakeholders or the internal stakeholders too, and the industry people actually. अब देखिए, Cotter, John Cotter has given one note at this step actually. Cotter suggests that for change to be successful, 75% of a company's management needs to buy in the change. 75% of the management needs to buy in the change for the success of any change management process actually. So that means you had to work hard on step one. As per the quota, we need to work hard on the step one and spend significant time and energy building urgency, sense of urgency before moving on to the next step, which is forming a powerful coalition. So before moving to the forming a powerful coalition, so we need to work hard on the step one. We need not to rush, we need not to jump too fast actually, because as per him, if you act without proper preparation, you could be in for a very bumpy ride, he used to say. He so he was saying that, so not to rush at the step one, not to jump onto the other steps without the proper preparation at the step. So create the sense of urgency first and then move for the step two, which is the form of powerful coalition, as you can see in the screen also. Now at this step actually what you need to do, convince people that change is necessary. Here at this step now, what you need to do, you have motivated the people, You have shown the change is needed, and now you need to convince the people that change is necessary. This often takes a strong leadership and visible support from key people within your organization. Key people coalition is required actually. Managing change is not enough. You have to lead it actually. To lead the change, you need to bring together a coalition or teams of influencing people of your organization whose power comes from a variety of sources, including job titles, position, status, expertise, and political importance. So once formed, your change coalition team needs to work as a team. So once you have formed your change coalition needs to work as a team and continuing to build urgency and momentum around the need for change. So at this step, what you need to pick up the influential people, the powerful people. So as for their job titles are concerned, as for their status is concerned, as for their expertise is concerned. So you need to make the team or group a strong, powerful coalition team actually into the organization who should be leading the change into the organization, who should be continuing to build urgency, sense of urgency for the change into the organization, and the momentum they will be creating the momentum around the need for change actually. So once the coalition has been done actually, so we will be, so what, how you can do, what you can do at this step actually. So you need to first, as I told you, you need to identify the true leaders in your organizations as well as your key stakeholders in your organization. Then second स्टेप पे क्या करना आपको इस यहाँ पे कि ask for an emotional commitment from those key people actually, those key leaders, and work then thirdly you need to work on team building with your change coalition, and then fourthly you check your team for weak areas and ensure that you have a good mix of people from different departments, different levels within your company. They should not be the same level. They should not be from lower level to middle level, top. So it should be the mixture actually. Then only it will be creating the powerful coalition actually. So that you need to do. You need to identify the true leader. You need to ask. You need to ask the emotional commitment of them actually. You need to work on the team building with your change coalition, and then you need to check your team weaknesses, and then you need to make it different level and the different different departments people into that coalition team actually. You need to put it out. Okay, once it is done, then the third step will be moving is a create a vision for change actually. Creating the vision, when you know we have talked into the last sessions also in managing the effectively the change activity, what activities are needed actually for the effective change management. So create a vision is the one of the major activity. Okay, so create a vision for change. When you start thinking about change, there will probably be many great ideas and solutions floating around. Link these concepts to an overall vision that people can grasp easily and remember. So a clear vision can help everyone understand why you are asking them to do something. So when people see for themselves what you are trying to achieve, then the directives they have been given tend to make more sense. So why to give the vision, actually create a vision which will be, so what you can do at this step actually. So what we need to do at this step, being OD professional or the change management professional actually. So firstly you need to determine the values that are central to the change. Then secondly, develop short summary that captures what you see as the future of your organizations. Okay, so wait, because organization members creating a vision is what is the meaning actually, where the organization member want to see their organization in future actually. So develop a short summary, what capture that should be capturing what you see as the future of your organization, then create a strategy to execute that vision, and then ensure that your change coalition can describe the vision in 5 minutes or lesser timing actually, so that people should not be losing their interest. There should be understandings in the lesser words. Vision should be described in the lesser word in the lesser time actually. And lastly, practice your vision speech often. So what is the vision of the organization actually? So leaders, the coalition team leaders who are leading the change into the organization, they need to practice it out. Okay, so once you have created a vision for change actually in the organization, then the another step you need to move with the step 4 is a communicate the vision. Creating will not do only, so you need to now communicate that vision to your organization members. So what you do with your vision after you create it will determine your success actually. Just a moment. So till fourth is the third step is clear actually to all of you. Creating sense of urgency, and then form a powerful coalition team, and then create a vision for the change, and then
Yes, sir.
communicate the vision we are coming. Are you understanding what I'm making you understand these steps?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so communicate the vision as I told you. What you do with your vision after you create it will determine your success actually. So you need to communicate it frequently and powerfully, and embed it into within your everything that you do apart from the company's day-to-day communication, because it should be separately communicated actually. Apart from the, it should not be mixed with the day-to-day communication or the email. So don't just call a special meeting to communicate your vision. Instead, talk about it every chance you get. Okay, so what we are saying frequently, so that it will be haunting to the employees actually. So use the vision daily to make decisions and solve problems. When you keep it fresh on everyone's mind, they will remember it and respond to it. So what you need to do at this level actually, firstly, you need to talk often about your change vision, then address people's concerns and anxiety openly and honestly. When you're talking about the change vision, people will be having the anxiety, where people will be not accepting it out. So firstly is a step page when you are communicating the vision, what you need to do, what we need to do being change management professional. Number one, talk often about frequently, powerfully about your change vision. Secondly, address people's concerns and anxiety openly and honestly. And thirdly, apply your vision to all aspects of operations, from training to performance reviews. Apply your vision to all as per the vision actually. Whatever training programs, whatever performance reviews we are doing it on, so we should be focusing on your vision. We should be applying our vision to all aspects of the operations. So tie everything back to the vision actually. Okay, and fourthly and lastly, lead by example. Give the examples of the people, the organizations who are actively participating into the change process. Okay, so lead by example. Okay, next, once you have communicated, you have created the vision. Now you have communicated the vision powerfully and frequently. Okay, whatever is the change vision actually, then step 5, what you need to do, you need to remove the all obstacles. Okay, if you follow these steps and reach this point in the change process, you what will be happening actually, this point in the change process, then you have been talking about your vision and building buy-in from all levels of the organizations. So when you are empowering your actions by removing, how you'll be empowering action, fifth you can see is the empowering action by removing the obstacles actually. Okay, so if you follow these steps and reach this point in the change process, then you have been talking about your vision and building buy-in from all levels of the organization. So we were assuming that all levels of the organization members have accepted this change process actually. So hopefully your staff, your employees wants to get busy and achieve the benefits that you have been promoting actually. So by removing the action, you're empowering the action. But is anyone resisting the change? And are there process or structures that are getting in this way? So you need to identify all these problems actually. This is what is happening actually in the here. क्योंकि आपको क्या करना identify actually क्योंकि is there any resistance from the any employee actually or any structures are up the obstacles. So put in place the structure for change and continually check for barriers to it. So removing obstacles can actually empower the people, empower the action of the people, and you need to execute your vision, and it can help the change move forward, move faster. Getting it out? So you need to put in place the structure for change and then and continually check for barriers, obstacles to it, and then remove those obstacles which can empower the people. You need to execute your vision and it can help the change move forward. Okay, so what you can do at this step actually, what you need to do at this step actually, so which is the important part. So first you need to identify or hire change leaders whose main roles are to deliver the change. So at this step we are reaching for empowering the action. The first we need to do, we need to identify or hire a change leader or whose main role will be to deliver the change. Secondly, look at your organizational structure, job descriptions, and the performance and compensation system to ensure that they are in line with your vision. Okay, are you getting? These are the guidelines actually. Which step, being change management professional or being the change management consultant, what you need to do. So look at your organization structure, JD, job description, performance and compensation systems to ensure they are in line with your vision actually. Okay, then thirdly, recognize and reward system for people for making change happen. So recognition, we are talking about R&R system. So recognition and the reward system you need to introduce for making the change happen. Identify, recognize the people and reward the people actually. Okay. And then fourthly, identify people who are resisting the change, which is very important. As I have told you, major challenges in the change management is number one is the resistance of the people, and the second was the building the culture for change actually. So now you need to identify people who are resisting the change and help them if what is needed by them. Okay, so we need to support them who are resisting actually. We need to help them see what is needed. So this is at the fourth step. And then fifth, you need to take action to quickly remove barriers, whether it is a human barrier or otherwise. Okay, so for empowering the action, these actions you need to do actually. So when you have empowered the action, then the sixth step will be going, which is the create quick wins. That is a create short-term wins. We are talking about quick wins, short-term wins we are talking about, not only long-term. Because nothing motivate more than success actually, because what is said, nothing motivate more than success. So give your companies test of victory early in the change process actually. So create short-term targets, not just one long-term goal. Okay, so create a short-term target as well. You want each smaller target be achievable. So create short-term targets, not just one long-term target goal. So you want each smaller target to be achievable with little room of failure. ये भी आपको हम लोग को मेंटली प्रिपेयर होना होता है कि with little room of for the failure actually people may fail actually in that the whatever goal we are providing, whatever targets we are providing in them. So your change team may have to work very hard to come up with these targets, but each win, that you produce can further motivate the entire staff. So we need to create the short-term targets, short-term wins, and then we need to motivate the entire staff members through that is achieving that those smaller target actually. Okay, so smaller target one by one, as will be achieving the smaller target, will be reaching to our long-term goals actually. Okay, so this is the step, this is the ladder actually. Okay, so one that we are doing that. So what you can do at this step actually? So first you need to look for surefire projects. आप लोग को आपको क्या करना है हम लोग को तो we need to look for the small projects that you can implement without help from any strong critics of the change actually. So first step पे you need to identify or look for the surefire projects, and then secondly don't choose early targets that are expensive. So we need to be intelligent over here, so we need not to be you choosing those targets which are expensive actually. So you want to be able to justify the investment, because we need to justify the investment of these project as well. So we need not to, we should not choose the early targets that are expensive. Then next, thoroughly analyze the potential pros and cons of your targets, and then you can move for the you don't succeed with this, so reward. Fourth is the reward the people who help you meet the targets. So these are the action which you need to take at these steps actually. By after the creating these things, we need to actually what we need to do for the creating this short term wins, we need to do these actions we need to take actually. Okay, once we have done it, then we are moving to implementing and sustaining for change stage actually. So first step in towards that is a building on the change. Build on the change. अब देखिए Kotter argues that many change projects fail because victory is declared too early. Getting it out? So we are in rush actually think a change process has been succeeded actually. So real change runs deep. Quick wins are only the beginning of what needs to be done to achieve long-term change. That's what we were discussing it out. We should not getting confused by achieving the short target actually, short-term target, short wins actually. So real change runs deep. Quick wins are only the beginning actually. So launching one new product using a new system is great, but if you can launch 10 products, that means the new system is working. Are you getting it out? Launching one new product using a new system is a great thing. But if you can launch 10 product at a time, that means the new system is working. To reach that 10th success, you need to keep looking for improvement one by one. Okay, getting it out? So each success provides an opportunity to build on what went right and identify what you can improve. Okay, so for building on the change, what we can do it out. So what being change management professional, what you can do. So number one, after every win, analyze what went right and what needs to improve. Okay, secondly, set goals to continue building on the momentum you have achieved. Set goals. Second is the setting goals. First was the analyzing what went right, what went wrong, and what needs to be improved. Secondly, you need to set the goals to continue building on the momentum. Then the third, learn about Kaizen. You all know Kaizen. So Kaizen, the idea of continuous improvement. So thirdly, we need to learn being change management professional, the how to go ahead with the continuous improvement. And fourthly, keep ideas fresh by bringing in new change agents and leaders for your change coalition. So whatever the powerful coalition we are building it out, we need to bring the fresh ideas through the fresh agent, change agent, new change agent, and the new leaders actually into that. Okay, then only we'll be moving towards the successful change process actually. And the last is make it a stick, that is a anchor the changes in corporate culture. Incorporate the changes into the corporate culture. So finally, to make any changes stick, it should become part of the core of your organization. So your corporate culture often determines what gets done. So the values behind your vision must show in day-to-day work. So that is the meaning of the make it stick actually. So changes should be incorporated into the company culture actually. So make continuous effort to ensure that the change is seen in every aspect of your organization. This will help gives that change a solid place in your organization culture actually. So what you need to do at this step? So firstly, you need to talk about progress every change you get. So whatever we need to speak about the achievements. So talk about progress every change you get. Tell success stories about the change process and repeat other stories that you hear. Okay, so that is very important at this about making it a stick for incorporating the change into the day-to-day culture actually of the organization culture. We need to talk about the change actually. We need to talk about the success stories of the change actually. Okay, secondly, include the change ideals and values when hiring and training new staff. Include the change ideals and values when we are hiring the and training the new staff. Thirdly, publicly recognize key members of your original change coalition. Whatever powerful coalition team we made it out, we need to recognize them actually. Okay. And fourth, create plans to replace key leaders of change as they move on. This will help ensure that their legacy is not lost or forgotten. So this is also one way to recognize them actually. Okay. So what is the key points actually are the quotas this thing. So you have to work hard to change on organization successfully. तो quotas at this step में आपका key points क्या है actually कि you have to work hard to change on organization successfully. Create a sense of urgency, recruit powerful change leaders, build a vision and effectively communicate it, then remove obstacles, create quick wins, and build on your momentum. If you do these things, you can help make the change part of your organization culture. And that's when you can declare a true victory. Then sit back and enjoy the change that you have envisioned so long ago. Okay, so because ODs are taking place, change management, these 8 steps will be taking their own time. So this is the quotas 8 step process of the model actually leading change model, how to lead and how to make it a stick actually. From it starts from creating the sense of urgency and then it is going for the sustaining the change actually, making it stick, making it part of the organization culture actually. So what are the pros and cons of the, we'll be talking about the quotas. The pros is this model does a great job of building enthusiasm and understanding the need for change by building a checklist that serve as a guide. These 8 steps is a providing you the great roadmap how to lead the change in the organization. So this secondly, this model positive energy creates the beginning. This is the leading change model. So this model positive energy creates the beginning, allowing for the momentum that can make the change happen. And this way, teams will be easily motivated to incorporate to new routines and the new processes quickly actually. So these are the pros of these actually. Cons क्या है actually? इसका one of the most important drawback of this system is that feedback. You can see in the 8 steps there is no feedback step actually, and feedback is essential in the change. In any change management, feedback is very essential, but this model neglects to include the stage that calls for employees feedback. So there is a risk that employee resistance will spoil the process actually. So this is the main cons of the main disadvantage of the quotas actually. So I'm telling you pluses and minuses both. So this is lacking only the employee feedback stage actually. It doesn't include, it neglects actually the employees feedback. So unfortunately this model is thought out of top to down. Second drawback क्या है इसकी actually कि it unfortunately this model had thought out as a top to bottom approach, and that seeks to be cascaded from the upper levels, not considering the needs that might arise from the lower levels of the organization. Getting it out? So it is this model is ignoring the employees need at the lower level actually. So for large companies it can work very well, but for a smaller company in which feedback is critical and expected, you risk employee resentment. So what is suggested, keep pair this model with other models, and that allows the employees feedback throughout. Otherwise for the bigger organization it is wonderful, as the McKinsey 7S model was very suitable for the smaller company. It is taking the help of time into the bigger company. Quotas 8-step model is very suitable for the larger company. ये अब एक एक क्लैरिटी आप लोग को जानना है कि बिग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर इफ यू मूविंग फॉर द चेंज मैनेजमेंट एक्चुअली कि which is the best suitable model for the bigger organization, which is best suitable for the organization wide change into the smaller organization for the organization wide change is the McKinsey 7S model. The third model we are moving is the ADKAR model actually. So this is the model. Any questions from the quotas model? Have you understood this model?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
This so quotas model you people must be aware of. It's a very old model actually. No one?
Yes, ma'am. We have read it.
And this model which I'm showing, the third model, ADKAR model, have you heard about this model?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. First time.
First, this is the
hearing
process
this.
for the individual level of change actually. This is the very
Okay.
good model actually for the individual level of change. Getting it out? Because अब देखिए individual level change as ADKAR का आप देखिए acronyms क्या है actually. You can see the acronyms of the ADKAR model here. What is the acronym? A stand for
Awareness of the need.
awareness of the need for change. D for desire to support the change. And then K, knowledge of how to change. And A, ability to demonstrate skills and behavior. And R, reinforce to make the change stick. Getting it out? अब देखिए, this is the model, as I told you, this is focusing on the people behind the change. This is not the sequential, actually, this is not the sequential model, actually. This is not, the ADKAR model is a bottom-up method created by the Jeffrey Hayat, the Proskis founder, actually. Proskis, the company, Proskis founder was the Jeffrey Hayat, who introduced this bottom-up method. The focus on the people behind the change. It is an outcome-oriented change management method. Outcome oriented, how it is outcome oriented, I'm showing it out. Abhishek, this is not a sequential method, as I told you, linear fashion, we are not moving it out. But each letter in the acronym represents a goal to be reached as a company. Getting it out?
Yes.
Each letter in the acronym represent a goal to be achieved, as an outcome to be achieved in a company actually. So where A for awareness, as you can see it out, you need to understand. So A for awareness of need for change. Okay, so ADKAR model represents these goals that should be reached for successful change management. So when we are achieving these goals, these outcomes in the organizations, then we are moving towards the successful change management. So the ADKAR model addresses these challenges by equipping leaders with the right strategy and the tools, and the individual with a right information, motivation, and ability. Okay, so moving towards this one by one step actually. So I'll show you, this is the 3 stages. ADKAR stages of change, you can see it out. Current level pe what we need to do actually, आप देखो awareness and desire. So 5 steps are there. Awareness, creating the awareness, creating the desire, then knowledge, ability, and the enforcement. अब अधिकार स्टेज चेंज क्या होता है कि these are the transition, current to transition to future actually. So as per अधिकार change management model, awareness and desire aim to move you out of the current state. Awareness and desire, when you are creating the awareness for need of change and the desire to support the change actually, so it is aiming, we are aiming to move out of the current state where change is needed but not yet begun. Current state पे क्या है कि we have identified the change is needed in the organization but change has not yet begun actually. And then transition stage पे क्या हो रहा है? Knowledge and ability occurs during the transition period where what is happening, we are giving the training and education. So knowledge and abilities occurs during the transition, and reinforcement focuses on future, how to sustain the business, how to sustain the change, how to make it stick, getting it out. So these are the three stages, and one by one we'll be talking about these stages actually, the Adkar model. So first stage, as you can see it out, is the awareness. What do you mean by the awareness? Who can tell me? Goal one है ये, because as I told you कि each letter actually represents the goal that we need to achieve. So goal one is the create awareness for the need for change, because in the all the first step we need to create the, because in the last quarters also we actually talked about the creating the sense of urgency for need of change. So here at call for the individual level of change, if you want actually, we need to create the awareness for need to change into the organizational members actually. So goal one पे आपको क्या करना है? We need to communicating the need for change is fundamental, but creating awareness for change goes beyond simply announcing it out. So in order for employees to be truly aware of the necessity for change, they must not only understand the reasoning behind it, but also come to agree with that reasoning. So if we are looking for the individual level of change, we organization members should be agreeing with that change actually. So what we can do, what being change management professional we can do at this step, how we can create awareness actually for need to change actually. So first, begin by providing clear explanations of why the change is needed. Okay, so first step in all the models, as I told you, so this is the first step, creating the awareness, creating the sense of urgency for the need. Secondly, then be sure to focus on the benefits of the change. So first you need to communicate what, why the change is needed. Then secondly, you need to communicate the benefits of the change as they apply to the people affected. So the people who are getting affected by the change, actually whatever change we are bringing, we need to communicate them the benefits of the change actually. And then lastly, always encourage your team to ask questions about how you decided on the change, how it will be implemented, and about the other aspects of the change process plan. So for creating the awareness, you need to do these things. You need to communicate the why the change is required, you need to benefits of the changes actually, and you need to encourage your team for being accepting the change actually. So this is the goal one in the Adkar stages, which is the individual level of change model. It helps in building the culture for change as well. This is the very effective for the building the culture into the organization. So if you are building the culture going, because as I had told you, the biggest challenges into the change management is the number one is the resistance for change, and then second was the building the culture for change. So Adkar model actually helps in building the culture for change, because for the building the culture for change in the organization, we are requiring the individual level of changes, where these 5 stages help us with this achieve. As we are achieving these 5 goals, we are actually building the culture. Individuals we are targeting, people side of change we are targeting actually. So goal one, once we have created the awareness, so goal two, we need to foster desire to make the change. So second is a desire, fostering the desire to make the change actually. So just because employees understand why a change should be made doesn't mean that they want that change. So never get confused. Okay, so in order for them to adapt the change, they must desire it. Okay, so they must desire it. So you need to foster that desire. How it is possible, how to do it out. So first, अब आपको करना क्या है being change professional at this step actually? So start by designating change leaders. Okay, we need to start by designating the change leaders. Choose change leaders who are able to relate to how daily routines will be affected, so that they can provide a specific support and guidance to their team members. Okay, so firstly, choosing the right leader, and then who can support their team members. Secondly, in order to foster the desire, change leaders need to get specific about the benefits of the change as they apply to particular individuals or teams. Then thirdly, they should present the change as something that will benefit them in their day-to-day work lives. So all these roles are of the chosen change leaders. The leaders we are choosing, they need to communicate, they need to support in the day-to-day routine to the team members. Then they need to communicate the benefits, and then they need to present the change, something that will benefit them into their day-to-day work lives. And lastly, when fostering the desire, resistance to change is major obstacle, as I have always told. So understand the root causes of the resistance, whether what is the root causes of the resistance, then address it head on, and if necessary, make adjustments to your change implementation plan. So at this step, what you need to do, you have understood. First, आपको क्या करना है? Change leaders choose करना है. Then you need to communicate them the benefits of the changes actually, and how it is benefiting to in day-to-day work life of them actually. And then you need to actually identify or understand the root causes of the resistance, and then address it head on, and then if necessary, make changes in your implementation plan actually. Okay, so this was the second goal to achieve. So this is bringing you out, aiming you out of the current state where change is needed but change has not yet begun. So now we will be coming to the transition state. ट्रांजिशन स्टेट में सबसे पहले आप गोल 3 क्या है हमारी? प्रोवाइड नॉलेज ऑन हाउ टू चेंज. तो हम लोग को क्या करना है ट्रांजिशन लेवल पे व्हेन वी आर स्टार्टिंग द ट्रांजिशन, because three stages are there into the any, whether we are going for the OD process, we are going for the change management process actually. Current stage, transition, and the future state. Okay, that is a desired state which we want to achieve it out, implementation state. Okay, so transition state by goal 3 is provide knowledge on how to change. The knowledge milestone in the Adkar model is primarily about training and education. Getting it out in Adkar model, because we are looking for the individual level of change actually. So what is knowledge we need to do? It is in the form of training and education. In order to begin the transition, your team will need to understand how their responsibilities, skills, tools, and processes will be impacted. So given or considering that everyone must reach each milestone individually, knowledge building needs to be specific. Getting it out, one knowledge will not be working on all the level of the employees, all the team members. So what can be done at this step? So number first one, provide knowledge that applies directly to each team's or individual's responsibilities. Okay, so first we need to provide the knowledge as per this should be the tailor made. Okay, secondly, take time to evaluate what additional skills, tools, and duties the change will require. And doing so will allow you to plan your change schedule around the necessary skill development. Okay. Thirdly, if your change requires employees to learn a large amount of new material or master new skills, then implement the change gradually. Why? Because too much change all at once can lead to resistance. So if the multi-skills acquirement is required, acquisition is required by the employee at the change process, then move gradually. Okay. So another way to increase the comprehension is the to use a variety of creative training methods, such as classroom training method, job shadowing, mentoring, videos, blog series, interactive guided learning. So we can use these creative training methods also to educate or to train to the employees actually. Okay. So knowledge building should go beyond facilitating actually. So knowledge building is not only the giving the training, and should not be only giving the training and the educating them actually. So knowledge building should go beyond facilitating the change. So it is equally important to provide knowledge that allows your team to see the change through to the end. Okay. So it is equally important to provide them knowledge that allows your team to see it change through the till the end actually they can be able. So that's why I used to say कि people should be the part of the from planning till implementation, they should be the part of the change process actually, if we want to achieve this goal actually, the third goal. Then the fourth goal is ensuring that employees have the ability to make the change. Ability transition period may you need to acquire the knowledge and ability actually. The fourth goal is ensuring that employees have the ability to make the change. Okay. So regardless of how well employees know how to do something, have been confidence in their own competency, which determines whether or not they can or will do something. So for ensuring that employees are having the ability to make the changes actually, what can be done? First, to bridge this gap between knowledge and ability, put change leaders in charge of coaching individuals or teams. तो फर्स्ट लीडर पे क्या होता है, अब यहाँ से देखिए ट्रेनिंग का रोल स्टार्ट हो जाता है ट्रांजिशन पीरियड से. एज आई हैड ऑलवेज टोल्ड इन द ओडी प्रोसेस आल्सो कि एजुकेशन, coaching, mentoring, learning practices all start from the transitioning period actually when we're preparing for implementation actually. Okay. So here we need to bridge up the gap between the knowledge and ability actually. So we need to put in charge the change leaders for coaching the individual or the team members actually. Secondly, task change leaders with collecting feedbacks from their teams and bringing potential issues and obstacles to your attention, to your knowledge. Okay. They should be taking the feedback and they should be bringing the issues, potential issues in our knowledge actually. Okay. Thirdly, provide hands-on training, as this is extremely valuable. This is also extremely valuable actually, the hands-on training. By giving teams a chance to test out the change before fully rolling it out, you give them opportunity to build confidence. Okay. So hands-on training is equally important actually. Apart from that, monitor performance and provide detailed feedback. So for large scale changes, consider implementing them in stages. So you can identify issues early on and make adjustments to your implementation plan actually. So this we have already discussed also कि large scale पे whenever changes is required actually, we should move gradually, we should move in stages actually. So that will be identifying the problems and issues stage wise actually, and we can rectifying, we can improving it out actually, and we can making the adjustment in our implementation plan as well. So this is the goal for once we have achieved this fourth goal, then we move to the future desired state where we need to reinforce the change. Okay. So goal 5 in the Adkar model is the reinforcing the change actually, because the initial, why reinforcement of the change is important actually, because the initial momentum may get you to the finish line, but you won't cross it if employees start relying on old habits, because this is the human tendency actually. Okay. So once the new processes are in place actually, Then new software is installed. When the new processes are in place, new software is installed, or the new organizational chart is official, reinforce the change long after its implementation. Then celebrate the success during and after the transformation so that you can build and maintain the enthusiasm of the organizational members. For reinforcing the change, actually, you need to celebrate the success during and after the transformation, and you can build and maintain the enthusiasm of the organization member in that way. So, because change cannot be solidified overnight, as you all know, fortnightly no one can change actually. Overnightly no one can change. So, reinforcement efforts should go well beyond the target completion date actually. Okay, so reinforcement के समय we need to take care actually that we should not be rushed, and because the changes cannot be overnight, so reinforcement efforts should go beyond the target completion date actually. So we have, these are the 5 stages of the 5 goals of the Adhkar model which we need to achieve for the successful change process, successful implementation of the change process actually. Okay, when we are looking for the individual level. So now coming to the pros and cons of the Adhkar model actually. Adhkar model provide an excellent framework for many types of organizational changes actually. As I had told you, for the individual, let's say this is a wonderful model actually. But process क्या और क्या है कि incremental changes are easy with this model, mainly because it has a bottom to top approach that can accelerate transformation as it's moving forward in the organizations. So thirdly, इसके pros क्या है, advantages क्या है कि this people centric method ensures a higher success rate for sustained change compared to the other methods that do not involve the people affected by the change actually. The other models are not involving the people into the processes actually. So this is the people centric method, and that's why it ensures a higher success rate actually. Okay, so this is the advantage of this model. So this framework is best suited for small incremental changes so that daily routines are not significantly disrupted or all at once. Okay, so these are the advantages of this car model actually. This is helping in individual level change, this helping in building the culture for change in the organizations actually. So these are the advantages. What is the con of the, what is the disadvantage of the this model actually? कि Adhkar might not be the best option if you are seeking large scale change. For the smaller incremental changes, it is the best suited model. But if you're looking for the large scale of change actually, then it is not, might not be the best option. So its style makes it more challenging actually to drive the change when the number of people involved is extensive. So when the number of, because individual level of change, it is looking for the people side of change, it is focusing on the people behind the change actually. So when the people, number of people are more, when the extensive, then this might not be suiting. Okay, so these are the little at disadvantages of the model actually. Okay, so 3 models we have already done it out, and this is going to be 5:30. So big, so more fastly, because this is very interesting, that the 4th model I'll be going ahead, the Kubler-Ross change curve model. As you can see it out, Kubler-Ross grief cycle. This is a very interesting. Why I really wanted to discuss it with her, because this is the human, how the human, when human are getting the bad news or the grief or the losses that we are accepting, and when we are going for the change process, so how the reactions come, how in the emotion side of the people, that is discussed in the Kubler-Ross model actually. It is a very interesting model. That's why I would like to, if you'll allow, then I'll go for this model actually. If you people will be allowing for this model, because the time is less. Sudeep has told that it is always. So should I go for this model?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Because this is very interesting. You people should need to understand how the people are reacting to the change process in the organization. Because Kubler-Ross actually undertook, she was the actually the the psychologist actually, she was doing the research on the clinical research on the terminally ill patient into the different hospital. And that time she analyzed hundreds and thousands of patients to complete her research. And finally, she came up with the 5 stages of this grief and loss cycle actually. And these five stages represent a series of emotions a person gone through after experiencing traumatic situations. Although these stages of grief or loss is explained from individuals who are ill or under extreme depression, yet this model holds true for other situations like work, employment, and business. And that's why we are discussing this model here into as a change management process also, because previous models which I have discussed, they are not taking care of the emotional aspect of the people actually. So which will be the successful model actually, which are taking the technical as well as emotional aspect of the people actually. Change management is focusing on the people side of change actually. So we need to take both the aspects into the consideration actually for the successful implementation of the change, which is a technical aspect as well as the emotional aspect actually. So this model has been widely accepted and applied to broadly explain the process of change, because the emotions are the same whether it's about personal loss or changes happening in organization. So let us discuss about these 5 stages. As you can say, what are these 5 stages? Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Denial is avoidance, confusion, elation, shock, or fear. The first stage of this grief cycle curve is, it is known as Kubler-Ross change curve, is the shock or denial. The first stage is shock is the first response to hearing a bad news. Okay, so it is very बहुत beautifully actually it has been elaborated by the Kubler Ross actually. So you just hear कि first what happened कि when a human being or individuals is getting the any bad news actually, the shock is the first response of that individual actually, and the person immediately goes into a state of denial, non acceptance. तो हम लोग की टेंडेंसी ह्यूमन टेंडेंसी क्या होती है, whenever we are hearing for the change actually, first we go in the state of the denial act and tends to think this news is not correct. So some persons recover early and some remain stuck in the state of a long time and do not accept the reality. So same is true with the employees of the organization also, who came to know what changes is happening in their organization and their jobs would be at risk. So that they don't accept realities and deny the new situations, and they need some time to adjust to change. So what is important being change management professional for us, कि how to manage this stage, how to manage this emotional side of the aspect of the human beings or the people actually. So how to manage this stage? So this stage first demands careful communication on the part of employer and change leaders. So how to manage it out? So first is the word where we need to be careful actually. This stress demands careful communication on the part of employer and change leader. And secondly, it is necessary to share only relevant information and avoid the irrelevant details which may cause panic among the employees. So whatever is creating fear, or whichever is creating, whose background there is a sound actually. Yeah, now it's okay. Yes, thank you. So how to manage this stage actually? कि first you need to communicate it out very carefully. So this is the required on the part of employee and the change leader. And secondly, only relevant information should be communicated, and the irrelevant the information should be avoided, so that it should not be creating the fear or the panicky into the employees. Okay. Second, after the shock and the denial, the second stage is the anger. So anger is the next response when someone is unable to reverse the fact or reality. Okay. So whatever the, so when someone feels powerless then he or she starts blaming others. They start thinking why this is happening to him or her. This is not fair. So at organization level or at the work level, what happens after the initial shock about change hits employees, then they become angry. क्या होता है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर when we are starting the change process actually, so first it comes as a shock for them actually, and after that they become angry with the management of the company actually, and their resentment or anger is directed towards themselves, and it may be towards their colleagues as well. So the employees tend to think without reason and express their frustration all the time. Okay, so they start thinking without reason and they start showing their frustration. So how to manage the anger stage? So at this stage, firstly the management should expect this sort of behavior from affected employees. That means mentally management needs to be mentally prepared. Okay, this reaction, this resentment, and this anger will be coming from the employee whenever we are starting the change process into the organization. They should be mentally prepared for this. Okay, secondly, it is just a natural response. They should be taking it as a natural response and maybe fed away with the time. So they should need to know कि they'll be giving the enough time. That's why the we should not in rush for the change management. We need to give the ample of time to the employee actually, so that they will be fading away with the time actually. These responses will be subsiding. Okay, so it is the management who should stay calm and communicate clearly and logically to manage the situations. Here the work is comes in the part of the management actually. They need to be quiet, they need to be calm actually, they need to be patient, they need to communicate clearly and logically to manage their this situations actually. Okay, once anger, the third stage comes up, the anger. So from denial to anger, and anger, the employee comes at the bargaining stage actually. So a person starts to bargain or negotiate with the realities when the impact of bad news begins fading away. When they are subsiding, the bad news effect is subsiding, then the people start bargaining with the dreadful realities actually. So he or she wants some more time to delay this new situation actually. He or she tends to, the employee tends to think like, what if I do this, and can I get some more time? So in work environment, what happens? The employee wants to continue working for some time. Basically, employee tries to find a way to postpone the emerging change. So they need little adjustment to find new ways to manage the situation actually. So how to manage the bargaining stage actually? So what we need to do actually? So at this stage, the management should show flexibility and be open to suggestions to make employees move forward. So they should be taking the feedback of them, they should be taking the suggestions from the employees as well. Their management should be flexible, they should be open for the discussion. Okay, they should be accepting the suggestions of the employee for moving forward actually, and this will surely bring some relief to the affected employees. When the management is doing so, it is bringing the relief for the employees. They're winning the confidence of the employee actually. So however, the management should tactfully make employee learn about the expectation from the emerging situations. So management needs to be tactful also. Management needs to be flexible. They need to be open for the discussion, open to accept the suggestions of their employees, and then they need to be tactful by for making employee learn about the expectation from the emerging situation. What management they expecting out of the change from the employee, they need to convey it out tactfully. Okay, so that way only we can manage the bargaining stage actually with the organization members. So bargaining stage, after the bargaining stage actually comes the depression stage. Okay, depression is the stage when a person feels sadness, they regret, guilt, and completely feel helpless. Depression is the stage, as you all know. This is the helpless stage actually. He or she gives up and become isolated. At this stage, when the someone is depressed, actually what we need to, they tend to isolate themselves for the other people. He or she avoids meeting other people around. Okay, so he or she loses all positive energy and feels all time negative for themselves and for others as well. In organizational environment, in the work environment, what happened? Employee feels he or she is locked in a dead end. Organization में क्या होता है? We become helpless when we are thinking कि job भी करनी है and we cannot do anything actually. So we are feeling कि we have reached to the dead end actually, and nothing is going to happen in their favor. Okay, so employees has no interest at all in their work and works with lowest energy at depression level. Okay, employees at the depression level loses trust of everyone, including his or her colleagues and management. So how to manage this depression stage actually? So it is important, firstly, it is important for management to understand that this is the hardest phase for the employee. When employees goes in depression level, then management needs to understand this is the hardest phase of the employees actually. And secondly, in this stage, they need to be taken care of and listened. Management need to listen them. Management need to show the concernment with the employees. Okay, thirdly, the management can come up with positive actions like reward, recognition system, reward system, more exciting training and workshops for the new roles and responsibilities. So this is the practical side management can come up with. Okay, positive actions, as I told, like rewards, more exciting training and workshops for the new roles and responsibility. So this way we can manage the depression stage of the employees. Okay, this is the fourth and the last stage in this is acceptance. Okay, when a person is sure that there is no more hope, then he or she tends to accept the fact or loss. दिस इज द ह्यूमन टेंडेंसी. जब हम लोग सब हाथ पैर मार के थक जाते हैं तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं? एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं. इसे चेंज प्रोसेस में दैट इज हैपनिंग एक्चुअली कि दिस व्हेन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डजंट गिव अप एक्चुअली, तो एट द स्टेज 5 द एम्प्लॉय आल्सो एक्सेप्टिंग इट आउट इफ डोंट वांट टू लूज द जॉब एक्चुअली. सो दिस हेल्प देम टू रिकवर फ्रॉम द प्रीवियस स्टेज and have reconciliation with the reality. This acceptance helps to resume his or her to life. So as for the employees who are suffering grief due to change happening in organization, this is the stage when employee should accept change, embrace new roles and responsibility. Employee should become terms to change and ready to move forward to towards the journey of change. Okay, so how to manage when the acceptance has come actually? What to do at this stage? The management finally feels related that their employees have accepted the new realities. Okay, so it will improve productivity and progress towards the big goal. So the management needs to reinforce. Now here, what to do? The management needs to reinforce the purpose of change and improve the strategy based on the learnings. So till the acceptance level, the management needs to be patient. And fifth stage, management needs to reinforce the purpose of change and improve the strategy based on the learnings from the previous stages actually. So the change curve, as you are seeing this curve actually on your screen, this change curve is a tool which can be used to know what is emotional stage of the employees and where they are on their transitional journey with regard to change happening in their work environment. So this helps the management to manage the situation through effective communication and other methods to support and guide their human resources on the journey of the change. So the curve you are seeing, this change curve starts with the shock and denial and it dips down at anger stage and touches the lowest energy when curve reaches at the stage of the which stage? Lowest energy when curves reaches at the stage of
Bargaining stage.
Bargaining.
depression.
Bargaining is
Bargaining, there is still bargaining. Depression, lowest energy I'm talking
yes.
about.
Yes, sir.
Lowest
Yes.
energy, they are losing all hopes and they are
Yes,
becoming depressed actually. That is the depression stage.
Depression
And
stage.
as the time passes by, after the depression stage, as the time passes by, the curve begins to go upward and regain energy level till the highest point, which is the stage of acceptance.
Acceptance.
Exactly. And after, till here, management needs to be patient with they need to handle the employee with the patience, and now they need to, their employees are prepared for the change. Okay. So Kubler-Ross has described this emotional aspect of the people actually so beautifully actually. And this is why I'm telling, because if the rest of the models are not taking care of the emotional aspect of the people, so we can pair this model with the, if you are moving ahead with the individual level change, so Adkar model ke sath we can pair up with this Kubler-Ross change curve, or otherwise organization wide change we are moving for, we can McKinsey 7S, we can leading the change, तो कोटस के साथ हम लोग इसको पेयर अप कर सकते हैं. तो दिस मॉडल कैन बी पेयर अप विद एनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चेंज मॉडल एक्चुअली टू टेकिंग केयर ऑफ द इमोशनल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ द एम्प्लॉय. ओके, बिकॉज देखिए इमोशनल एस्पेक्ट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एक्चुअली फॉर द सक्सेसफुल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ द चेंज एक्चुअली. So advantages क्या है इस मॉडल के, as I had told, this model gives insight to understand the emotional stages involved in any process of the change. If these are managed, if these emotions are managed better, then entire journey of change will be smooth and successful. Okay, that's why it is very important model actually. This model is useful because it is very easy to understand and apply to any situation. Okay, people can relate it very easily actually. Disadvantages kya hai iske? This model is criticized actually for being relevant to some situation and some culture, and it is not applicable to all situation or entire change process actually. So all organization depends upon the organization culture actually where it can be. So this is the disadvantage actually. Secondly, 5 stages of the grief losses are neither sequential nor work in parallel actually. Okay, so it is not always that a person must reach the last stage, as he may get stuck in any stage actually. Okay, acceptance stage पर तक लाने के लिए we need to be patient actually. This is the only disadvantage of this model actually. So we have done with this actually, and the one nudge theory in very short I'll be telling you out. Why I'm telling, because the Indian government is also using this nudge theory actually. देखिए क्या होता है कि नज नज का मीनिंग क्या होता है? नज इज द मीन्स ऑफ एनकरेजिंग और गिविंग डायरेक्शन टुवर्ड्स अ certain desired behavior without instructing or mandating a person to do something. Getting it out? Why this is a very modern actually. Nudge theory is a modern and flexible concept for understanding how people think, behave, and make decisions. The name and concept of this nudge or the nudge effect or the nudge theory was popularized by the 2008 book actually. There was a book actually, Nudge Improving Decisions About Health, Wealth, and Happiness. And it was a major international bestseller book actually. Okay, so the theory states that people make decisions based on the potential values of losses and gains rather than the final outcomes. Okay, so nudge theory can be adapted and applied much more widely for enabling and encouraging change in people, groups, or individuals. अब देखिए why I am discussing over here this actually. देखिए आपको on the screen you can see the nudge theory. The basic principles of this theories are: define changes, clearly define the change, then consider the change from the employee's point of view. Then it is giving a direction actually for the change. Nudge theory gives you the without, because nudge का meaning ही मैंने आपको क्या बताया actually कि it is encouraging for giving direction towards a certain desired behavior without instructing a person to do something. So this is giving a direction. That's why nudge theory I'm discussing it. This is providing you the direction for the change actually. You clearly define the change, then consider the change from the employee's point of view, then use evidence to show the best option, then present the change as a choice, then listen to feedback, then limit the obstacles, remove the obstacles, and then keep momentum up with short-term wins, which we have discussed it. So this is the basic principles of these theories actually. And thus theory allows employees to see the need from change for themselves and influence how it is made, making resistance less likely actually. It guides employees towards the options that management wants them to choose actually. So the beauty of this change management framework is that it aims to get the full support of your employees. Okay, so this is the model actually, nudge theory model actually. The beauty of this change management framework is that it aims to get the full support of your employees actually. Okay, the nudge theory is best used in conjunction with another model like Adkar model, as both values employee inputs and support. अब देखिए nudge theory, why I told you कि application when we talking about actually application of the nudge theory, which is a very modern and the flexible concept actually. So nudge theory had been used by the governments across the world in the public policy as well as the healthcare domains actually. Indian government has applied this theory, used this theory for their two flagship programs. Number one is Give It Up. Anybody can tell me what was this program of the government? Give It Up. This was for what? This is the older program, but the nudge theory has been applied by the Indian government into this program. Give It Up was for surrendering the LPG cylinder subsidies, cylinder, and this surrendering it out. So in this, the Indian government has applied this nudge theory actually. And the second program was the Swachh Bharat program, which is still going on. Swachh Bharat programs mein this theory has been used by the Indian government actually. So nudge theory had been used. This is the modern theory actually. It has been used by the government across the world in the public policy as well as in the healthcare domains actually. Nudge theory has been applied in telecom industry, banking sector like HSBC has used it out, digital sectors. So it is a very modern and flexible because it is focusing on how people think, behave, and make decisions, and helping people improving their decisions and thinking actually. And that is it is used by the governments across the world actually. So these are the 5. I have finished these things. So the summary में देखिए आपको क्या है, because why I consider these 5 models actually, if I'll summarize it out. So first, McKinsey model is applicable, can provide the guide for the change management process in any type of industry for organization wide change. Okay, it is providing the holistic model actually, holistic approach it is providing it, because it goes deep into the all layers, giving you the clear reviews of all the internal factors and telling you clearly what is doing well and what needs to be improved in an organization. Second, Cotus model is important, which is providing you the roadmap for the leading the change into the organization. How to initiate the change, how to create the sense of urgency, and how to make it stick actually. The 8 step, the clear roadmap it is providing to the organization. Third is the Adkar model, which is providing you the roadmap for the individual level of change, which is providing you the roadmap for the building the culture of change into the organization. But these models are not taking care of the emotional aspects of that's why the Kubler-Ross model needs to be paired up with these models when you are introducing any model into the organization, which is taking the emotional aspect of the employee for the successful implementation of the change actually, which is the 5 stages GRIP model that you need to consider it out. Okay, and the last was the very modern and the flexible, that is a nudge theory actually. So this much from the change management model from my side. Okay, so I'm sorry I have taken the half an hour more, I think, isn't it? So they sorry for that.
It's okay, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
You can take next half an hour, no problem.
Only you are saying, Sudeep. Sudeep,
Today I
I've
don't
left my
have-
classes sessions last session because I've lingered it on long.
No. Today I don't have to go anywhere, so you can continue.
So you can continue. You have understood actually the change management.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So let us just a moment sharing this. So any question? Any question?
No, ma'am. It's okay.
Okay. So should I wind up then today? Because 28th I'll be concluding on the OD and CM actually, and the course review also, because one session I have missed actually. So just give me more timing into the 28th actually course review. With that I'll be taking the 6th session also. I'll be concluding it out actually on that.
No
OD
problem.
CM में difference क्या
Okay.
है आप लोग को अब clarity होनी चाहिए. What is the difference between, what are the reasons of the failure? So these things we'll be discussing into the last session of the 20th. Okay, so attend that
Okay.
session.
Okay, ma'am.
Sure,
Okay.
sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye. And चलिए आप सारे बूढ़े बच्चे लोगों को Happy Children's Day today.
Thank you, ma'am.
In the end. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Have a nice
Bye, ma'am.
weekend. Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.